cohesive community. And I see that here. So we don't want to forget that. These were some of the data points I discovered that the first so-called university, where there were courses and students, in surprisingly Morocco. And then, as you can see, University of Bologna in 1088, first European university, and Oxford, which we opened up with that picture of Oxford. And you can see some of the other universities. The first Asian university, University of Santo Tomas, which is one of our participating institutions in this project. Harvard, the oldest in the US, but a relative newcomer in 1636. In Australia, University of Sydney, and your University of Peradeniya in 1941. Long tradition. This evolutionary progress, first of all, creators and keepers of the written word. And in every aspect, I consider this to be our sacred responsibility to protect, to perpetuate these unique aspects of this institution called a university. A community of scholars and teachers. And we have 55, I believe, 55 institutions in this project. And of course, I have my own institution. I have my alma mater, and then the institution I worked for at Cornell for 20 years. And I see every single university is different. Every university has its own character, like every individual has its own character. That said, we're all the same. We all have the same basic values. So, evolving from this keeper of the written word and the teacher of the written word, a later aspect of the university is this creator of knowledge. And this is one of the things I think the public doesn't often understand. Somehow knowledge has to get created. And that's what universities have done, is create knowledge through its various scholarly processes. In the United States, this process got formalized and institutionalized in 1862, which is, my colleague Arif pointed out, was in the middle of our Civil War. This was some enlightened activity in the middle of our Civil War, and a bright spot where the body politic realized that universities had so much more to give than just producing students and producing papers, to produce technology and bring it to farmers. So from 1862 onwards, we have in the United States have had a tradition of taking technology created at universities and bringing it to users. So anybody who says, oh, well, technology transfer is a new endeavor, well, at least in our tradition, it goes back to the 1860s. My university was founded in 1865 on this principle of being a classical university teaching law and medicine, the classics, all of the traditional studies that universities at that time were providing. Cornell was unique in the United States and probably in the world in that 1865 we were the first university to offer studies in the practical arts of animal husbandry, agriculture, machinery. So very practical and bringing technological solutions to our public. We've had that idea for a long time that our purpose is to serve the public. Extension is that formal term that was instituted in 1862 in the US and Cornell, for example, of bringing technologies to users. Primarily in the early days, that was for farmers. creators of knowledge, research. Now, a modern university conducts a great deal of research. I was happy to hear that conversation you were having yesterday about your research activity. I never want to take for granted the fact that our institutions have a thriving research base, in part because after World War II, there was an understanding that our society would thrive if we were to put money into the research enterprise, and particularly fundamental research. And so, as hard as it is to compete with other demands on the public purse, we would say that that history shows that funding research benefits society in the long run. And certainly now, the number of technologies that have come out of basic research and applied research in the US is phenomenal. I don't have a slide to show you the thousands of new products and services and companies that have come out of our research activities. This is one of the key things that occurred to me, is that this development of researchers as teachers, teachers as researchers, the idea being that, and I sometimes would argue with, because sometimes researchers aren't the best teachers, but the idea being that university education should be dynamic and changing and cutting edge. And that's why you want to have your scholars who are doing research integrate their research and their discoveries into their teaching. So scholarship, our unique social role, scholarship and education, the creation, preservation, and transmission of knowledge. And I think this just occurred to me. 5 minutes. Oh, really? Well, we're not going to get anywhere close to what I want to tell you, because I thought I had 30 minutes. But not to just archive knowledge, to advance it. So, to produce the next generation of creators, to enhance the standard of living, by creating and disseminating knowledge. That's what this is about. We're not going to be able to get through this information, but I can leave you with certain key things. This endeavor of I'm not here to make money, more money, but if money is made with my invention, I don't mind having some of it, particularly if it goes to my research program. This is really just looking at human nature, right? But if I ask a different question and I say, do you want your technology implemented in society as a product or service solving problems for the world? 100% say yes. I have never met a single faculty or staff inventor who said, no, I don't want my technology developed. Everybody does. It solves problems, and that's why we do it. We don't do it to make money. Now, if you start off with the idea that you're going to do this to make money, you've already distorted the process, and I believe that you then start treading the path, a dangerous path, of potentially causing harm to the basic nature of our universities and what they are. This precious institution that has been molded over thousands or 1,000+ years. But if you do it for the right reasons, which is to bring technology to the public. Why do we need to do it? Because technology today requires investment. Very few inventions that I know of, new technologies, don't need money invested. Now you can go to the government, and that is an approach. But what I'm talking about here is harnessing the best intellectual creativity of our public institutions and private institutions, our universities, with the best parts of the private sector. So that means that investment and return on investment have to become part of the picture, and that's okay. We've learned that that's okay. Now, I will also say that if you do this right, and there is a way to do it right. Next week we're going to be teaching a workshop about the way to do this in a way that does not hinder, damage, threaten the basic nature and character and values of our institutions, but just builds on that. But if you do it right, and you're patient, and you invest in your people, and you invest in your infrastructure. And this is the hardest thing for all of you, because that's all you need is one more new demand on your budget. I understand that. We fought this budget battle for years, and they always said, no, we don't have enough money. Well, we figured a way, and you will figure your way along. You ultimately will see some financial benefits. But you have to be patient, and you have to do it for the right things. That becomes a pleasant byproduct. Since I don't have any more time, I think. Yeah, let me just tell you, I want to get, just very quickly, I want to get to the WIPO project. You can see these are all the fundamental values that, if you do it right, I would be the first one to say that I would quit and I would refuse to do intellectual property and technology transfer if we threatened any of our basic values. University is not for sale. We get research freedom, academic freedom. Those are must-haves. The primacy of the public good, scholarship, education, and research are our holy triumvirate, and the IP is always secondary. We are not for profit, and we are not a marketplace participant. So the EIE project is based on this premise that universities can play an enhanced role in the economic development of a country. through implementation of proven and sound. Proven because we've got 40 years in the US, and the UK has a long tradition of it as well, as do other countries. We're trying to be open-minded to not say that our way is the only way. You'll find the Sri Lankan way, of course, but we're here to show you our trial and error and the things that worked for us and the things that didn't work for us. Appropriate partnering with the private sector, and all of this ultimately benefits the institution. This will benefit your institution in ways that you can't even fully appreciate now, and it will benefit society. You do this right, society will be pleased. So will politicians, but that's not why we do it. A lot of people somehow don't appreciate what this precious institution, the university, is, but they will appreciate the new products. I mean, the fact that Google was invented at Stanford, did you all know that? So you can point to things like that, that when you have to go explain to the politicians why you need money for research, this helps. So active participation in the university IP-based tech transfer has a more profound effect than the creation of new products. So we're searching for that. That is one of our goals, is to work with you to find success in commercialization of your technology for new products, companies, jobs, but it's the process. This is one of our, we didn't expect this. The process itself generates a creative economy of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, and supporters. And part of this EIE project is to bring this community together with you as the fundamental platform, a thriving innovation ecosystem. So you can effectively add this new mode to your mission and become an active element in this innovation ecosystem if you have effective IP policy and practices. This is what we're working on with the EIE project. You have to invest in your infrastructure. That mostly means people. You have to have those knowledgeable professionals, and that's the purpose of our workshop next week. You have to have creative faculty and staff, and I'm sure you do. They are everywhere, mostly waiting to be unleashed. And you have to have valuable technology and intellectual property and a willingness. And sometimes universities, you might think you're willing, but you're not really. And I heard from the private sector, they said, we can't even talk to universities. And I understand that situation because there's not a developed dialogue, there's not a mutual understanding. And that's one of the things that we can work on together, is the private sector needs to understand you a lot better than they do, and vice versa. And you will find good private sector partners. I'll leave you with a couple last points. And one is, if you take 100 existing companies, now you're going to have to create companies. That's been our experience. Because our new technology, we can't find partners, usually because the technology is too embryonic. So we have to create companies. And we do that with cultivating entrepreneurs and the university taking a supportive role in creating companies, launching our technology, and then ultimately become successful for the benefit of the public. If you take 100 existing companies and you line them up and you see whether or not they can be a good partner for a university, I don't know the percentage, but I'll guess it's like 25% will never be a good partner for you. That's our experience. They will never be. So don't fight that. Find the other 25, 30, 40% that will be good partners. That's one of our challenges. That's what we're going to work on together to help you find good partners who understand why you do what you do and who also respect this tradition, 1,000+ years of tradition of this most precious institution called the university. The last thing I'll say is I have no reservation in encouraging you to participate in this new endeavor of intellectual property and technology transfer. It will ultimately prove to be a very significant addition to your mission. Be patient with it. Take the time. It will pay off. There will be challenges. But it is a beautiful endeavor of humanity, and you will enjoy the process. With that, I'll say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Richards, for the excellent presentation. It is very interesting, his qualifications written here: political science and history, the first degree, with minors in biology, chemistry, and Spanish. So we were talking about arts graduates, the employability. That's why I just want to mention this. An MSc in bioprocessing, and then the PhD from Cornell. Thank you so much. And when it is come to intellectual property, the prefaces wrote by Engels to Marx's 3 Das Kapital volumes came to my mind. Before publishing 3 volumes, Karl Marx is dead and gone, but Engels collected all the writings of Karl Marx, got the philosophy and the thinking of Karl Marx, and edited and listed down in 3 volumes and published by the name of Karl Marx. So why do we need intellectual property laws if people, intellectuals, are like this? He collected everything and published under the name of Karl Marx. He could have easily have the joint authorship or sole authorship of Engels, but this is totally different with today's thinking. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Richards. Our next keynote speaker is Mr. Arif Saman. He is from London School of Business Management. He is the Deputy Director of the Center for Research and Enterprise. And also, he is the author of the best-selling
And these are the imprinting sessions that we plan as well. So this supports all the students, anybody who actually has an idea about the going into the entrepreneurship, open these sessions. Then we have recently started at the beginning of this year, Mora Ventures Frontier, and this is a trademark for Morato University Ventures. And in that we have this is supported by the Entrepreneurship Society quite a lot as well. And there is an open session for the entrepreneur and industrialist every Wednesday throughout the year. And these are the activities of the society. And our students have got lots of awards by doing that, participating in various entrepreneurship and innovative initiatives, as you can see. And again, I'm not going to go through all the details. Some local, some international as well. This is just a list of achievements that they have got. Okay, and there was a competition in London as well in a racing car. These are the pitch events that we planned, Lions Den and Mora Ventures, with the support of the industry, coming and having these kind of programs to support these startup companies. These are the Mora Ventures startup companies, all these student startup companies that are there. And the startup graduated companies, launch stage, prototype stage, and ideation stages. These are all the companies that we are supporting to promote. And we also support the university staff members to have their own enterprises with their own inventions. As you can see at the bottom, you have a Future Drones. It's a company supported by a university staff member that we facilitate. Within the university, they can use the university address until they have their own strength to be independent. So we allow them to use the university resources and address for about a year or so until they become fully fledged. This is the structure that we have at the university to support the entrepreneurship. As you can see, on the right-hand side, you have the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Incubator. Through that, we support all the student companies. And on the left-hand side, you have the business linkages, UBL linkages for any other kind of activities, which has a technology transfer office, TISC, as well as other industry collaborations, supported by the Intellectual Property Advisory Committee and so on. And so the number of startups by the students over the years, as you can see, it is significantly increasing. And this year we have the largest number of student startup companies, and we expect this trend to continue as we go ahead. Thank you very much. 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Professor Ananda. Next will be the presentation of Garuda University by the Vice Chancellor.
Okay, good morning. At the University of Ruhuna, I'm going to tell you the story of how an undergraduate teaching university is going to convert into an entrepreneurial university. So we established our university in 1978, mainly as an undergraduate teaching university. And in 2011, the university decided to develop a research culture within the university community because we want to be a teaching and research university. So we took a bold decision providing 45 research grants from worth of 90 million Sri Lankan rupees to young academics who have returned just after their PhD studies to commence their research career. This made a huge impact, and at the same time, we encourage our academics to develop research collaborations with foreign universities. As a result, we were able to upgrade our university from teaching university status to teaching and research university status. So this is the outcome. This is the today situation. If you take the top citation percentiles, that is publication in top 10% of most cited worldwide, out of the Sri Lankan publications, our university was able to contribute 25.9%. So I believe that it's a huge impact with respect to research. And if you take publications in top journal percentiles, the publications in top 10% journals by site score percentile, almost 50% of the total Sri Lankan publications from the University of Ruhuna. So this is because we tried our level best to develop a research culture within the university, and we are successful. And this is our research performance for last 2 years. We are very strong in physics and astronomy, and we have published in most of the, almost in all disciplines. The important thing is we concentrate on the international collaboration, because I always encourage my academic staff members to have the international collaboration with respect to research. As a result, if you take the publications authored with international collaborations, co-workers, out of all the publications in Sri Lanka, 75.8% has come from my university. So I believe that it is a big impact because we always encourage the international collaboration. But we have a lacking part, that is the academic corporate collaboration, because we don't have a single publication with the public-private collaboration. So this is the thing that we are going to address now, because now we have come to the level that we are research university. As a result, in 2016, University of Ruhuna became the #1 in the country, beating all the other universities with respect to the number of citations according to the Google Scholar. So I think, therefore, I'm very happy that we have developed the research culture within the university, and I'm happy to say that out of the top Sri Lankan scientists, if you take the top 5, 2 from my university, having the very high H index, and even Professor Dharmaratna, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Technology, is here at this forum. So therefore, from an undergraduate teaching university to a research university, now we have achieved. So then our next step is to go from research to the entrepreneurial, and now we have taken many steps. As a result, now my academic staff is getting more patents, and we want to transform this teaching, research and entrepreneurial university. What are the steps now we have taken? We have already established Technology Transfer Office, and we have allocated 4 million Sri Lankan rupees just for the commercialization of research. So with that, I believe we will be able to develop into an entrepreneurial university. That is the 3rd stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kotalawal Defense University.
Good morning to everyone. In fact, the entrepreneurial initiatives of KDU, Kotalawal Defense University, I rather tell about my university. It's about the mix of brain and brawn. That's a unique experience in higher education of this country, where the military and civilians studying together. And catchword of here is discipline and the punctuality. So with that, we have the initiation was that we all together, the studies going on with the military and the civilian students in the same environment. So this is a very unique situation probably in the Asia itself. There is no such the basic degree way of higher education. Saying so, I think I'll get my registrar to run the glimpse of, because of the time constraint, I'll let my registrar run the glimpse of the innovative and entrepreneurial activities of my university.
So can I have so
So KDU was established under a Act of Parliament, and there have been 3 amendments I've already done to KDU amendments. And the new introduction is the southern campus, where KDU is going to relocate and build the southern campus, which is funds generated from the university itself. So the government has given us the land, so it is up to the KDU to develop and go ahead with the southern campus, which subsequently we have done up to 3 steps, and further it is going to be developed for another future steps. So at present it is about 350 students studying there. For the next step it is going to be enhanced by the other 200 students. So this is the accredited and recognized that KDU had throughout these years, of these 35 years. So it is, as I said, it is unique, where you have the military and the civil students studying together. With this, we are trying to produce very disciplined students and develop leadership skills, sharing knowledge and experience skills, and other cultural exchange, because we are planning to have a lot of foreign students coming and continue their studies here. Subsequently, the thrice services are required to fulfill what is there. So we are mostly developing the research skills of the services, subsequently that we are diverted into the commercial field as well. Then KDU started enrolling the day scholar students in 2002, where the 35% of the students are from military and the 65% of the population is going to be civil students. Subsequently, we are going to promote, and we have agents in all around the world, foreign countries, where they will support us to enlist foreign students. Then we have the Faculty Industrial Consultation Board, where we will be meeting regularly to develop the curriculum in order to satisfy the demands of the society. Then curricular reviews are periodically done in order to have the day-to-day requirements. Then subsequently, we are going, the next step, innovative step that we have done is to put up the 810-bed hospital, which is going to be ultra-modern, which carries nearly 20 modular theatres, including Sri Lanka's first hybrid theatre, 70 ICU beds with beam-type pendants, maternity suites with individual delivery rooms, puberty delivery system, first purpose-built fertility center, fully fledged endoscopy center with 5 suites, and including it. So this is the university which it stands, and we are planning to hope the first open by end of this month, where you will have a fully fledged hospital. This is the beauty of this is that it is going to be a public-private partnership, where you have the public 70% and 30 private sector, where the government have given out the funds, and KDU have to find funds to continue the operations of the whole theatre. So this is going to be a major innovative that the KDU had done for a few years. Then subsequently, we have a lot of collaborations, and it is going to be a big collaboration in the coming years, and 10 products are on the line, and we are awaiting BOM approval. With this, there are a few challenges that KDU have to go through. We have had the new drafted according to the requirements of today. So with this, when we get this, the KDU will be on the next step to cater the next requirement generation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And next will be the discussion. So I invite 2 keynote speakers and 4 vice chancellors who have presented their case studies. Thank you. Now the floor is open for questions and clarifications.
switch on? Okay. Thank you so much for those really informative presentations. My question actually is to Professor Ananda Jayawardena, who showed that they are really, advancing with their entrepreneurship and enterprise development. You showed so many startup companies, and the increase is impressive. Is there anything that you would like to share with the other universities that could make them, pick up on this trend?
I would like to share, because what we are trying to do is to create that kind of an entrepreneurial culture within the university. Actually, establishment of culture will take some time, but in order to accelerate that kind of a culture, you need to have a champion in the university. So what we did was we actually got the industry to support us, because it's very difficult in a normal setup to motivate an academic to promote entrepreneurship. But we actually got funding from the NDB Bank initially and the IFS to establish the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Chair. And at the moment, of course, it's a senior fellow, depending on the qualification of the person who is coming in. And his job is all the time to support, promote entrepreneurship, connecting with people, industry, academia, both local, international, as well as the student societies, going and talking to the academic staff members, the heads of departments, deans of the faculties. So it's an effort by this kind of initiative. And when it is there, it is actually picking up. Now, at the moment, there is immense enthusiasm by the students through this entrepreneurship society as well. And I was happy to see in the former presentation as well that entrepreneurship society in a university can play a significant role in that. And so you need a champion to support. And of course, once the culture is developed, it always, you have multiple personalities to support that. And initially, it is difficult, but certainly you can rise with the time and with the supporting coming in.
Thank you. Just a secondary question. Being a majorly an engineering university, did it give you an advantage?
Yes, as an engineering university, I think we have an advantage because 2/3 of the university is engineering, but engineering faculty provides the leadership, but we can now see the architecture, information technology, and other faculties coming in. And some of these startup companies are not only engineering students. Actually, some startup companies are formed by the students of all the faculties, and some startup companies have even students from other universities and outside. And that is what we support. As it was mentioned that, when you have an interdisciplinary kind of an expertise, your enterprises will become more successful. Thank you.
So the comment I'd like to make is that when we started in 1990 this process of an entrepreneurship and the university actively involved in these kinds of enterprises, it was not supported at the top. Our president at that time was a very traditional, a very stately scholar, but who had very little interest in this area, and so he was not anti, but he was not supportive. And so later, when he retired and we had a new president come in, that individual changed the whole environment by his support. And now this whole endeavor is supported from the top down. So I would say that I'm sure they're too humble to take credit for this, but it's the active support by vice chancellors that make all the difference in the world.
I mean, it's interesting, where I'm based at London School of Business and Management, I have a teaching responsibility. But for my other portfolio, which is enterprise, I report directly to the CEO. And I think that's quite interesting. I mean, it reinforces what we're saying here. I think you need to have that relationship, whether it's in a formal sense, to be able to cut through some of the politics when it comes up, some of the red tape when it comes up. We talk about speed to market. These things slow us down. And in entrepreneurship, you have to move more quickly. So I think having the vision of the chief executive, the vice chancellor in the institution is one thing, but having the clear reporting relationships to people, wherever they are in the organization, even if they're 3 or 4 levels down, that is going to be crucial to drive it forward.
Professor Rahul.
Yeah, thank you. My question is to Dr. Richard. Well, towards the end of your presentation, you indicated about an innovation ecosystem. Looking at our higher education landscape, only for those who qualify from A levels, that is the requirement to enter the university system, it's only a small fraction. A large number cannot enter, but having gone through the A-level systems. But they would enter technical colleges and areas where slightly lower than the university systems. But universities giving the leadership to innovation, is there any way that you see that how those who could not enter the university system can also participate in this innovation ecosystem drive in the country? Or is it not necessary, only the universities should give the leadership? What's your opinion?
Well, I hope I understand your question. And what I understand the question to be that is this innovation ecosystem limited to the university network? The answer is no. It's a beginning of a platform. We think that it begins to create critical mass, and then certainly there are a number of participants that have to be involved, and they're not universities. And the one thing I'll say too is that for all this to be successful, universities need partners. They need partners outside of the institutions. So the answer is we're starting with an effort to create a strong platform among university institutions. We know that can work. We have a model for how that can work. Beyond that, we're going to have to work hard to find the key partners, but yes, they'll be outside of the institutions.
Yes, Vice Chancellor. Yes, Dr. Harsha. Next, Vice Chancellor Weinberg.
Okay, so I just have a question, particularly from the Vice Chancellor of Colombo and the Vice Chancellor of Moratuwa. You all showed the work that you are doing with private companies. But there's a lot of work that you all are doing also in terms of development policy, working with government, working with development partners. Why was that not also highlighted as part of the contribution of the universities in innovation?
Yes, I think we had very limited time also given to us. Within 5 minutes, we had to make, we had to showcase the work that we have been doing. In fact, the University of Colombo, take for example, we have been doing lots of activities with the public sector, and we are helping the central government as well as the provincial governments to develop their provincial plans. For example, in 2005 to 2009, I'm giving you just one example, I led the team to prepare the 2005 to 2009 Northwestern Province Development Plan, which was very successful. And also now they came to us again a couple of weeks back and asked whether we can in fact develop their 2018 to 2022 5-year development plan. So you see now in addition to our main role as teaching and research, we have incorporated this community outreach or community extension programs. So we are taking students and the staff out from our traditional boundaries and try to connect with outside or local communities around us. So we have been doing lots of innovative things. Unlike Moratuwa, I think Deepti's question towards Anand, you see now, basically Moratuwa is an engineering university. Now you are adding so many other faculties into it. but you have this technical nature around your disciplines. But traditional university like Colombo, it's not that easy for us to actually go for a quick change. Now the Faculty of Science has given us the lead. You see now we have that science and technology cell in our hand. So that has a huge impact on other faculties. So there is a demonstration effect now. You see now, around that, we can bring all other faculties into this so-called entrepreneurial university concept. Now the Faculty of Management and Finance has now stepped in. So they are now creating an infrastructure among the students and the staff to be more entrepreneurial. So we are moving forward, but maybe gradually, but we are doing all right. Yes, thank you.
If you take the Moratuwa point of view, we have 8 corporate goals, and 2 goals are actually specifically for this aspect. One goal says that we need to develop the expertise and transfer the expertise, support the industry development and economic development. And we have another goal specifically on the support of the policy making. So we drive through the goals, and we are very happy to say that lots of our staff members are involved in policy making, lots of boards of management to provide the leadership, and also industry. And most of the time, even the cabinet refers lots of technical advice from Moratuwa, and also wants Moratuwa staff members to be appointed in these policy-making bodies. So we are very happy about it. And we drive through these 2 corporate goals. And also, when you have this as corporate goals, it means that deans and the heads of departments are aware of it, and everybody is actively pushing these kind of things, so that we see that as a best technical university in Sri Lanka. So it's our duty to support these policy, transfer technology, and all these kind of things. So therefore, we are highly connected with the government policy as well as industry. Thank you.
Yes. Professor Ekanayaka from...
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Of course, I may not take as long as 5 minutes, but after witnessing the university-wise presentations, I would like to add that at the Wayamba University, in 2016, we initiated the Wayamba University Business Incubation Center, where the potential graduates to be turned entrepreneurs could be identified. And recently, just about 1 month ago, in collaboration with the National Enterprise Development Authority, NEDA, we launched the Business Research and Development Center, BRED Center, in collaboration with NEDA, and the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, declared open this BRED Center in close proximity to the university, where the graduates turned entrepreneurs are nurtured for the initial period of 2 years until they can sustain on their own. So as of now, we have produced as many as 6 entrepreneurs from our system at Makanduru premises of the Wayamba University. So I am adding this just for your information. Even being a young university, we too are in the process of developing our entrepreneurs. But of course, I would like to see a more centralized mechanism where irrespective of the nature of degree programs, all degree programs can generate this entrepreneurship mindset in the minds of students, and also the university has to embrace the entrepreneurship mindset. So that's what I would like to add to this basket of case studies from Wayamba as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ekanayaka. The last question from Vice Chancellor, Vocational Training.
Yeah, so my question is, in these entrepreneurial universities, one of the important aspects is entrepreneurship. Most of the existing companies, big companies, want entrepreneurs, especially when it comes to apparel. Most of our graduates now are recruited as techno-entrepreneurs, not textile engineers, not managers. So this is very important trend, and that's what most of the international global industries want. So therefore, I think this is very important, what innovation and all. But at the same time, as a university, because we expect about 1 or 2% entrepreneurs, at the same time, we need more, maybe 75% entrepreneurs, where they want to take the business and move forward. So most of the apparel, someone mentioned about this swimsuits, etc. So they are actually produced by these entrepreneurs. So especially this term, techno-entrepreneurs, is the new designation for our graduates. I'm actually talking on behalf of Morocco, even though I'm Vice Chancellor UNITEC now, University of Vocational Technology, because of those initiatives, this entrepreneurship also should be stressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have concluded a wonderful session, the morning session of entrepreneurial universities. I would like to thank Dr. Richard Kaun and Mr. Arif Sahaman, who were the keynote speakers today, and 4 Vice Chancellors for presenting case studies regarding their entrepreneurial activities at university level. Thank you so much.
I would like to invite Professor Ranjit Vijayawardena, Chairman CVCD, to award token of appreciation to the speakers and chairman. Dr. Richard has come, Mr. Arif Saman, and Professor Sampath Amartya.
Dear participants, before the refreshment, there's a small announcement. The checkout time of the hotel is 12 o'clock. So if the room keys are with you, please hand over the room keys to the reception. There's a small arrangement to keep your baggage